All right, everybody, we're going to get things started so we can get everybody going. Everybody wants to take their seats. So thank you all very much for coming tonight. We're really excited. Adam's yelling at me to yell louder. They don't even have a microphone, so we're excited to get started, and it's actually really cool from my view here to see we have everything, I think, from 8U to 20U all in one room, and what a great story that is about our program. So thank you, everybody, for being here. For those of you I have not met, my name's Kelly Beckinsale. I'm the general manager and owner here at ISCC. I'm also going to be the executive director of the Northern Connecticut Hockey Program this year. We're really excited to kick things off. One thing I want to do is just talk quickly about how tonight's going to run. You're going to hear from Coach Riley and Coach Lang. First, you'll hear from Coach Riley, and that's for all of the players and coaches. And then Coach Lang is going to speak just to the coaches, so the players are welcome to leave at that point. One other thing I want to do is introduce you to the great team of folks we have here that are going to help make it a great season. So quickly, just want to call your attention to our team. I'll start with Adam Westhaver. He is my business partner, fellow owner here at ISCC. He's the governor of our junior hockey team and also on our executive committee. I'll go to Scott Shaler, who is our program director this year of our Nor'easter Youth Hockey Program. We have Ian Riopel. He is new to our program officially this season as our development director. He's going to be responsible for all of our house programs and skills programs, working really closely with all the coaches on any individual team needs they have. We have Sean Kelly, who's our marketing director. Jackie Volker, our fitness and sports performance director. We have Vicki Lowndes, our treasurer, registrar, operations, just about all of those other things. We have Nielsen Archibald down there. He is our head coach and general manager of the Nor'easter Junior Hockey Program and also on our executive committee. Way in the back there is Kat Francis, who's all things operations as well. So you'll be hearing from a lot of those folks, but I wanted to put a face to the name of all the people that make everything happen. So as it relates to today, I can tell you I can't think of two better people to help kick off our season than Coach Riley and Coach Lang. Let me give you a little background, and many of you guys know Coach Lang is one of our founding coaches of our Nor'easter Youth Program. He also had children who played in both our Nor'easter and Lights programs. We became fast friends, and he's been instrumental in not only helping me as a leader, but everything we've done. And he called me one day and said, listen, my close friend, Brian Riley, yeah, I've heard of him. He's about to retire from West Point. I've got to introduce you guys. I've got to get him down here to meet with you and Adam and have him see everything you're doing around here. You just got to meet this guy. So I was tremendously humbled, not only to just meet Brian and the thought of even introducing us, but to have a legacy come into this facility. We all kind of looked at each other and said, this is just amazing. And then I got really nervous. Thinking, he's a big deal. Like, he's walking into the building here. Oh my God, like what's happening here? But what an honor it was, and what a great meeting it was. It was life-changing, it was game-changing, and the start of something really special. And I could talk about that and the journey we've been on over the past couple of years all day long. But one thing I wanted to point out, because it seems really relevant to today, is one of the first things Brian said to me at that meeting was that you get one shot to make a good first impression. It wasn't a phrase that he coined as his own. I'd heard it before, but it hit really differently that day. Something I think about every day, as on both a personal level and, more importantly, what we're trying to do here. What we're building is more than just trying to put teams on the ice. We're trying to build a culture that people are proud of. We're trying to create a great experience for families, for coaches, for players. Everything we do is to create a resource to try to make everybody the best version of themselves that they can be. And with these two here, they represent all the good that is this sport. So obviously they're tremendous hockey coaches, But more importantly, they understand that coaching is about people, about relationships, about leadership, about the impact that you can have on young players far after the game is over. So I can say without a doubt that we are where we are because of the leadership of these guys, because of their guidance, because of their support, because of their willingness to pick up the phone when I call and ask questions, when any of these guys bug you. It is tremendously appreciated, and thank you for that. And so for me, when we talk about kicking off the season, I see this as a new opportunity to create a great first impression. So what better way to do that than with the two people that represent the best part of what we're trying to make this program into. So it is my honor and my privilege to introduce our great friends to the program, Coach Brian Riley and Coach Eric Lang.
Thanks, Kelly. Can you guys hear me back there? Yeah, okay. This is a perfect example of they saved the best for last, right? That's why Langer's going second and I'm up here. The game of life, the game of hockey, right? I've been in the game of hockey all my life, and who I am today is a result of this great game, right? So I'm going to talk, and it's obviously more directed to the players here. I'm going to talk to you guys about things that will help you in the game of life, also the game of hockey, but ultimately, if you are lucky to get half of what I got out of the game of hockey, you will live an amazing life, right? So a year ago, I was getting ready to retire. I had coached 40 years. The last 33 years were at West Point coaching Army hockey. And so that year I had a chance to do a lot of reflecting, trying to think. And it was amazing how it kept coming back to me, youth hockey, my time as a youth hockey player. I am jealous of what all of you have right now because it went by so fast. But I started to think of my teammates who, friends for life, right? I started to think of my coaches, Mr. Dyroff, Mr. Rosner, Mr. Bride, Colonel Irby, Coach Barzee, Coach McShane, all coaches that impacted my life, right? So I said, what can I do to maybe give back? And I had some conversations with Kelly and Adam, and I was like blown away by what they are doing here, right? And it kind of fell into my lap last year that a friend said, hey, you want to come and help me coach our 16U team? And I didn't really expect to get back on the bench so fast, but it was kind of neat as an assistant coach. I didn't have all the responsibilities of the head coach, right? But I realized youth hockey's changed. When I played, like we were just towns. Like you'd go play the town. Like now you guys are traveling weekend tournaments, different states, and they had this thing called My Hockey Rankings. Is that what it's called? My Hockey Rankings? I still can't figure out how the hell they rank teams, and honestly, for me, it wasn't about where our team ranked. I wanted our team to be better at the end of the year than when we started, right? But I can tell you this, all you players, what you have here is second to none. Second to none. And what Kelly was talking about, first impression, when I walked in this building, I was like, whoa, you could eat off the floor in here. Like most youth hockey rinks you go into, pardon my French, are dumps. Like you guys, this is like the Taj Mahal of youth hockey right here. So I hope that all of you players appreciate what you have. I hope that you players find the time to thank Kelly, to thank Adam, to thank Cheryl, to thank the Zamboni driver. Like everybody that has something to do with this rink, you need to appreciate them. Because most youth hockey players, they don't have this. I'm telling you, they do. Hey, there are some college teams that don't have this. I walked through the performance center today and was like, what? A sauna? I'm like, are you kidding me? So appreciate what you have, right? So coach for a lot of years, right? As a coach, I like to study and look at teams, the great teams. Who are the great teams? The great teams are the one that sustain success, right? You guys know it's hard to win. It's certainly hard to win a championship, but the great teams win back to back to back to back. And I always wondered, how do they do that, right? So at West Point, I had the opportunity to spend time with, I would say, two of the greatest teams. One is, you guys probably don't know, rugby, one of the best rugby teams in the world, New Zealand national football team. They're called the All Blacks, right? If you look up stats, the All Blacks year in and year out are at the top of their game, right? Top of their sport. So their coaches come to West Point. They have a sit down with me. I mean, I don't know what I can teach these guys. I was a sponge, right? So the coach says to me, because I was like, Coach, how do you sustain this greatness? And he said, well, number one, the players. He said, we have great football players. Like they call rugby over there football, right? We have great football players. And then he said, Coach, it's our culture. Culture. What is your culture? Well, your culture is what you do every day here in this rink, but more importantly, it's how you do it, right? So he told me, he said, Coach, every single All Black, when he comes and becomes part of our family, his whole purpose is to make sure when he leaves that jersey is in a better place than when he first put it on. Pretty simple, right? But he said, Coach, every single one of those players buys into it. Every single one of those players. So for all of you, culture is what drives you to success. You can have a very talented team, but if your culture isn't good, in the biggest moment, your team will fail, right? On the other hand, culture wins when talent alone isn't enough. Coach Lang knows what I'm talking about here. At West Point, on paper, I would say 90% of the games we played, we didn't have the same skill that our opposing team had. We didn't. We don't have any Canadians. We don't have any Europeans. Like, all of our guys are good students. But you know why we won? Because of our culture. Because of our culture. So what will drive your culture is not a bunch of rules. Like, I'm sure your coaches will give out rules, but at West Point, we had one rule. One rule. Because at the academy, sure, there's plenty of rules, but our hockey program had one rule. Do the right thing. Pretty simple, right? You guys are all old enough to know what is right and what is wrong. Okay? So, you want to have a great culture, you got to have leaders. You got to have players that do the right thing. And you know what else those leaders have to do? They have to guard your culture. What do I mean by that? Things aren't going well for some guys on your team. The coach walks out the locker room door and they're all, wow, coach doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, why are we doing this? Why do we have to do that in practice? You know what that is? That's a lousy culture. That's a lousy culture. You know what you need to do? The leaders need to say, hey, coach said this is what we're going to do, then you do it. right? So you want to have a successful team, have a team that has a great culture, okay? And make sure you guard that culture. So the second team, I will argue, that's the best team in the world. The best team in the world. And I'm not talking about a team on a hockey rink, on a basketball court, on a soccer field, on a football field. We, and when I say we, Langer was on our staff. We had a chance to go to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, right? Fort Bragg, North Carolina, home of the Army's 82nd Airborne, but it's home of the Army Special Forces. And we had a chance to go to the Delta compound. The elite fighters for the Army, Delta Force. Delta Force. They're the guys that go on mission. We don't even hear about some of them. They go to rescue Americans. They go to take out bad people, right? As soon as we got on that compound, it was like, whoa, this is different. This is different. We went in to eat. Langer's having hamburgers, potato chips, chocolate chip cookies, and I'm looking around at these Delta Force guys, and they are fueling their body with the right food, right? Like they aren't eating what we were eating. And then we had a chance to go watch them work out. Hey, I've been in plenty of gyms. I've seen plenty of guys work out. These guys, they worked out like their life depended on it. But more importantly, they worked out like their partner's life depended on it. Same thing in the obstacle course. Everything we saw them do that day was wow. So the day ends, and we're walking back to the compound, to the headquarters, and the colonel says to me, "Coach, what'd you think?" And I was like, "Colonel, like our country's in great hands with what I just saw." He said, "Well, thanks, Coach." And I said, "Colonel, can I ask you a question?" He said, "Sure." I'm like, "How do you do it? How do you stay the best of the best?" Because when you're a Delta Force, you can't afford to have a bad game, right? You can't afford to have a bad day off. And he said, "Well, Coach, those soldiers, they're the best of the best." He said, "But let me tell you something. We live by a saying here. It's called the relentless pursuit of excellence in everything we do every day." The relentless. Now, for those of you that aren't sure about relentless, it means like non-yielding, like you are going to do whatever it takes, right? And so when you're a coach, I could watch one of your teams practice today, Arch. I could watch your team practice, and I could say, "Wow, I like that drill. I'm going to bring it back to West Point with me." Or you play against teams, and maybe you like how their penalty kill operates or their power play, and you're like, "You know what? I'm going to try that." Or you hear things, and you're like, "I heard that, and I'm stealing this." I brought it back to West Point, and everywhere in our locker room, the relentless pursuit of excellence in everything we do every day. This right here was above our locker room door. So when the guys walked out, they walk out every day, touch this. Yes, I wanted them when they went out on the ice to be the best that they could be. And if everybody, every day, you've heard the 1% get 1% better each day, then by the end of the day or the end of the year, our team will have improved. But more importantly for me, this sign was when they walked out of the rink. When they walked out of the rink and they went down below. I wanted them to be the best roommates that they could be. I wanted them to be the best teammates that they could be. I wanted them to be the best students that they could be. I wanted them to be the best sons that they could be. Right? A saying like this is about being the best that you can be in everything that you can do. So I don't want to hear guys say, "All right, I'm all into this just for hockey. I'm going to be the best that I can be for hockey. But school, I'm not so much worried about that." If you take it easy in school, there's going to come a time when you're going to look for easy in hockey, right? So you make sure, no matter what you do, you give that best effort to make sure that you are going to be the best that you can be. If we have a team, and I'm looking at the older guys right here, if you guys have a team this year where every single guy is committed to being the best that he can be, our team will be pretty good. If we have half the guys who are like, I'll be okay. I'm not going to work that hard. And you know what? Our team will not have success. Everybody needs to pull the rope in the same direction, right? So be the best that you can be. Now, I'm going to tell you something about life, about hockey, that I would probably say you guys have probably heard this before. When I was a coach, I always told my players, my door is always open. But for some reason, when you're the head coach, guys are afraid to come in. I thought I was pretty cool too. Like, I don't know why they were afraid to come in, but maybe they were afraid that they weren't going to hear what they wanted to hear from me. Right? But one thing I would always say, when guys would come in and ask about ice time, when guys would come in and talk about not having confidence, coaches can't just give you confidence, right? If we could, I would have given out a lot of bags of confidence over my 40 years. But I did always say this: control the controllables. Control the controllables. How many guys have heard this before? Right? Yeah. And guess what? You go to the next level, you're going to hear it again. You get out of hockey and you go to work somewhere, maybe your boss is going to tell you, control the controllables. And these controllables, guess what? They take zero talent. They take zero talent. The first one, effort. It takes zero talent to work hard. Somebody on your team, the older guys, and I'm looking at other teams, somebody on each one of these teams is going to be the hardest working player on their team. And the thing about it, everybody has the opportunity to be the hardest worker. If you aren't the hardest working player on your team, then shame on you. Then shame on you. Because it doesn't matter how big, that has nothing to do with it. It takes zero talent to be a hard worker. Each and every one of you, your individual goal of every practice, in every game, you want to be the hardest working player on your team. Pretty simple, right? Check that box. The second one, attitude. It takes zero talent to have a good attitude. Hockey's like the game of life. You are going to get knocked down. How many of you guys have ever been knocked down in a game of hockey? Huh? I would think everybody, right? Yeah. And what do? You get up. You get up. You get knocked down again. You get up. You get up. What some guys do when they get knocked down? Bang their stick. Shrug their shoulders. Go back to the bench. Like, head down. Body language is brutal. I will tell you this. As a coach who spent many nights in rinks, we look at players. And if you have bad body language all the time, line right through your name. Coaches, we don't have time to make you a good person. We don't have time to make sure that you are somebody that has a good attitude, right? Check the box. Good attitude. Take zero talent. The third thing, take zero talent. Be a good teammate. Guys, girls, hockey's a team sport. Hockey's a team sport. I've seen it on some t-shirts and some rings. We is greater than me, right? Like, you are all playing this ultimate team sport. Be a good teammate. Maybe you're having a tough game, but maybe your D partner is having an unbelievable game, or your line mate's having a great game. Share in his happiness. Celebrate his success. It's not about me. It's not about woe is me, right? So control the controllables. Every practice, every game, check those 3 boxes. 0 talent, effort, 0 talent, attitude, 0 talent, great teammate. And if you check those boxes, every time, you will walk out of this rink, if you're driving or if your parents are driving, feeling good about your performance on the ice. Okay? So, like I said, for me, probably 60 years of hockey. And I consider myself the luckiest guy in this room because of what hockey has done for me, has done for my family, has introduced me to people like Kelly, Adam, Shales, gave me the opportunity to coach against Archie, gave me the opportunity to work with Langer. Like, if you put in the effort, you will get rewarded. You will get rewarded in hockey and in life. Okay? So don't ever forget that. Now I get the opportunity to turn it over to Eric Lang. So I forget how many years ago, our program was in a tough spot, right? And I had to make a change. And I brought in one person, this guy right here, Eric Lang, completely changed the trajectory of our program. We went from a program that was down and out to a program that became on the rise, right? One of the best coaches that I ever had the opportunity to coach with, one of the hardest coaches I ever had the opportunity to coach against. But when he told me that, hey, Riles, you got to go talk to those people up in Simsbury, you know what? He was right. He was right. Again, great opportunity to listen to a great person, but for me, again, to remind all of you what you have here, second to none. Appreciate it every time you walk into this ring. All right? Thank you.
I have one little thing here for the players, and then we'll just get all the coaches up front. I'll start with this. I talk to Brian Riley every day for the last probably 15 years of my life.
My wife's not happy about
I know, and neither is mine. If I could put mentor, role model, father, best friend, brother, all in one, that's Brian Riley. And I'll never forget the opportunity to go work with Riles at West Point. And I couldn't wait to show him what I know about the forecheck, how we're going to break the puck out. I know a lot about the power play. And I quickly learned that this sport has nothing to do with that. It's about people. And Brian Riley is the guy, when it's your birthday, there's Chips Ahoy cookies in your stall. And I was like, this is stupid. What are you doing this for?
I told him I baked them.
But I quickly learned that really hockey isn't about X's and O's. It's about how we treat people, how we interact with people. And everything Riles just gave this group is real. It's real. And I had a couple of Carter's here, E5 is here, Keegan Clapp, or any of the older guys, like, what are you doing this for? Like, what's the goal? Could be anybody. Keegan, put you on the spot. Why are you training so hard? Like, where do you want to take this? What's the end game for you?
Probably just get to the next level.
And what's that?
Play college.
Play college hockey. How about our older guys here? What's the goal? Play college hockey. You have a lot invested. You have a commitment for the unknown. You're putting a lot into this. hoping that there's something at the end of this. And the one thing I will tell you is, are you an and or a but player? So coaches, I can have my wife come in the rink and identify who the best player is on the ice. That there's not a lot of skill to that. But are you an and or a but player? So when I call Archie and I say, man, number 27, I really like him. He can skate, he competes hard, he can finish around the net. And Archie says, you know what? You've got him pegged as a player. And he's a great person. And he stays out late and shoots pucks. That's the give and take we want when we talk to coaches about you guys. What we don't ever want is but. Yeah, coach, he can skate. You're right. He competes. He can score. But he don't practice that hard. But he's not the greatest teammate. And I can tell you, someone that does this for a living and has to pay my mortgage and feed my family with this, we won't recruit the butt players. Ever. No matter how good you are. Okay? We can be so incredibly selective at our level. And I'm not just talking about the Division I level. Club hockey now is super competitive. Division III hockey is as good as it's ever going to be. You can't be a butt player and survive. And good coaches, and Ryle's taught me this, we recruit with our ears as much as we recruit with our eyes. We want to know. We'll go back a coach. We'll go back to your prep school coach. We are in this to gain as much information about you guys as possible so that we can make an assessment. We want to coach him for 4 years. That's a big commitment. And we don't want to coach guys that could get us fired. Someone who's going to, miss curfew, not be responsible on campus, not go to class. So when all things are equal, we just want the best people we can. That's who we want to coach. And I call them A mindsets. I'd rather have an A mindset, someone who is so incredibly focused, as Ryle said, in every aspect of their life, and they want to get better. And we will take a B talent, because that A mindset is going to get better and better, and he's going to push his teammates, and he's going to develop his teammates. The B mindset, as Ryle said, he's always going to let you down in the end. All right, so that's really important. Ryle's hit a little bit on this. I'll get a little more in terms of the hockey, things that take no talent, or we call them, we call this 7 habits of tough hockey players. Has nothing to do with scoring any goals. All right, communicate. Everybody in this room can communicate. You can call for a puck every day in practice. You can call for a puck when you're changing for your line mate. You could call his name. When your teammate is going back on a puck and he can't see what's coming, you can talk for him. Takes no talent for that. Everybody in this room can communicate. All right? I actually got this saying, get big low, from Brian's son Jack, how they teach you how to block shots. Being fully committed to blocking a shot. It's the greatest single thing you can do, not for yourself. Not for yourself. Who wants to get hit with a puck? But you do that for your teammates. And Jack Riley told me, get big low. Because getting big low, getting down like this, is fully committed to blocking a shot. Not like this. Not like this. Get big low. And you do that for your teammates. Takes no talent for that. Okay? This is, if there's one thing, if I had an RPI hockey player in here right now, 90% of our video is about gliding. It's about gliding. You don't glide anywhere. You sprint back on a puck. You sprint to get open. You sprint on the back check. You sprint to put pressure on a puck carrier. No gliding. I didn't say yet. It has nothing to do with how fast you are. Don't glide anywhere. Coach blows a whistle in practice and it's time to get to the board, and you only have 90 minutes of expensive ice, although not that expensive, Kelly. It's best priced ice around, all right? But sprint to the board and stop and let your coach know you're ready. Don't glide. Don't shoot 3 more pucks. Sprint everywhere. Okay? Here's a good one. Change before you're tired. Riles talked about not being a selfish player or a selfless teammate. Change before you're tired. There's so much data and there's so many metrics on when you get scored on in terms of when you're on the ice, and it's always when you're tired or it's always on the back end of a shift. You can completely control that. Change before you're tired. And it's very selfless. Instead of saying, you know what? I'll glide back on the back check and maybe we can get something cheap and I can get in transition and get on a breakaway. Change before you're tired. This one is stolen right from Coach Riley. My favorite thing that one of my favorite things he taught me. Never let him know. Never let him know. Never let him know you're tired. Never let him know you're hurt. Never let him know you're frustrated. And when Riles talks about body language, that's that never let him know. Because what you're telling your opposition is you're weak. Or when you're doing a sprint, so coaches, you're doing a little conditioning, and then you get on the goal line and you're on a knee, you're telling all your teammates, I'm out of shape. Never let them know. You block a shot and it hurts, don't rub it. Never let them know. If you can live in that space, you'll have something special. Okay? Last 2 things here. It's not your shot, it's our shot. A lot of video we will do is our players will get outside the dots or they're really far away from the net and they're shooting it high and wide trying to go bar down. It's not your shot, it's our shot. So sometimes when I'm way out on the perimeter and I have somebody go into the net, I'm shooting for my teammate. I'm going to shoot it into goalie's pads knowing I'm not going to score, but we can create some chaos because it's our shot. It's not your shot. And lastly, doesn't take any talent to go to the net front. If you want to score, you go to the net. If you don't want to score, you stay out on the perimeter. Because every single metric, whether it's National Hockey League, college, 14U or 8U, you have to get 7 or 8 feet away from the net to score goals. Anybody in this room can go to the net and stop. It's the easiest thing you do. It's like if you're hungry, you go to the refrigerator. If you want to score, you go to the net and stop. It's that simple. For our players here, any questions for Riles and I? Then we're going to move the coaches down and we'll do a little coaches Q&A and some concepts here. But anything that you guys would like to know, either about the college process, practice, what we look for, it's an open floor for you guys. And then if not, we're going to chase you out of here. You guys appreciate how you guys came here dressed up, polo shirts, tucked in, no hats, hair combed. Riles used to have hair like that right there.
So did you. Come on, you guys gotta give us some questions. Math class.
There any parents in the building here that wanna, and while we're here? And I'm no different. I have a 15-year-old boy, a 17-year-old son, navigating this space the same way you guys are.
What do you look for when you're recruiting, you're looking for talent, you're going out to the rinks? You talk about, you see that one guy, you scratch him off. What are the positives that you're looking for? And what are the negatives that you're looking for? What brings a guy into RPM?
We want the most competitive player on the ice at all times. That's if I were putting it as simple, in the most simple terms, guys that play with second and third effort, guys that are competitive. And the funny thing is when we go to a rink, and Riles has done this a million times, we're watching everything. We watch how you change. We watch if your teammate scores and you give him a tap on the shin guard, or he scored and you went right to the bench. We're watching everything, and we are trying to paint a picture. Are you a good fit here? Do you celebrate with your teammates? Even the huddle before the game. Who's the last guy in? What number is he? He don't look like he cares too much about his teammates. It's on our radar. Everything matters.
Yeah, I would just say, like, for me at Army, I always felt if you put on a jersey that has Army across your chest, you better be tough. Like, you don't have to be the biggest guy, right? But hockey's about a game of one-on-one battles. And usually the team that wins more of the one-on-one battles wins the game, right? But the only way you're going to win a one-on-one battle is if you want to be in it, right? And it gets back to what I said before. You get knocked down, get up, you're good. Just get in the next battle. And the other thing that I would say, you've probably heard this, you only have one opportunity to make a good first impression. So if it's on the ice, or if after a game, especially to you older guys here, maybe a coach comes and grabs Archie and says, hey, I want to talk to number 7. When you come out of the locker room, you make sure it's a firm handshake, it's eye contact, right? Speak clearly, speak with confidence. The last thing I would want as a coach when somebody comes out, loose handshake, head down, mumbling. No. I recruited some guys at West Point, and one of them is this right here. I don't know if you know what these are. These are killed in action bracelets. And if TK, Major Thomas Kennedy, was here right now, I would tell him in front of all of you, TK, I recruited you as much for the conversation after the game that I did as a result of the game. And he played a fine game, went to Salisbury School, like that's where I recruited him from. But that conversation after the game, he had the it factor. What's the it factor? Leadership. I went back and told our head coach, we need him in our locker room because he's a culture guy, right? So you older guys, you meet a coach this year, you look him in the eye, you speak with confidence, you have a firm handshake, right?
Archie was on my staff for this, and I'll go on the other side of the coin. We had a transfer from a hockey school, okay, at the time when I was at AIC, who was going to transfer to AIC. Our assistants worked on him for 2 months, okay? And we had a great visit. And right at the end of the visit, we asked, it was his mom, said, do you have any questions or whatever? And I watched this player shush his mother. Remember this? Yeah. In the Mass Mutual parking lot. He shushed his mother and shoved her into the car. And we went back and I said, he's out. Out. We're not coaching that. No way.
Hey, coaches don't have time to make you a good person, right? Like, I mean, they don't. Like, I'm sure your parents have told you right and wrong, but when you get to the college level, like, we don't have time to do that. And one of the worst things that I can do as a coach that I had to do was cut players. I didn't cut a lot of players, but one of the hardest things you have to do as a coach, you have to have hard discussions with people that you care about. And for me, mostly it was about telling guys that they weren't dressing, right? It stinks as a coach, but you always have to look out for what's best for the team, right? So.
All right, we'll cut the players loose, and then.
Can I do one thing
Yep,
actually,
yep.
just real quick? When I was making introductions, Jesse was just getting off the ice, so I want to introduce Jessie Stott. She'll be our lights program director. So I was saw her sneak in after the ice, so I want to make sure I introduced her as well.
Wait, hold on. Let's Langer's telling you players, one of you guys have to have a question. Here we go.
There we go.
So with student life, like how much does school play a part in your recruiting process? Like away from the ice, like stuff is like such as grades or SAT scores and stuff like that play a process into your process.
That's a great question. I know Riles will speak to it. At West Point, everybody wants your time. And to be able to manage your time effectively, the type of student you are paints that picture for us. And we need, and RPI is a very good academic school, but we need players that could juggle the academic course load, but not struggle on the ice. And they usually go hand in hand. If you are beat down in the classroom, you tend to get beat down on the ice. So we want the best of the best. We want the best student that we can find to coincide with the best player we can find. And they usually are right here. It's never like this. And I'll let Riles talk to the West Point experience.
No, and one of the most disappointing things as a coach is you go and you watch a game and you're like, I like that kid. You go down and you talk to him afterwards, like, yeah, he could fit into our program. And then you talk about academics. So how do you do in school? And the but, the and. Yeah, I do okay. Well, what about math? Well, I do all right, but my teacher doesn't really like me. So I'm like, oh, here we go, right? You make excuses in the classroom, someday you're going to wind up making excuses on the ice, right? So you guys are older here, but to some of the younger guys, I don't know how you do in school, but I will tell you this. Imagine every college hockey school in the country has a flag hanging in this room right now, and you're looking up. If you do well in school, you can go to any one of those schools. If you don't do well, some of those flags start disappearing because you can't get into an RPI or a West Point or an Ivy League. You want to be in a position to be able to pick your school, right? So in order to do that, do well in the classroom, and you will have many more opportunities than those that don't. And don't make excuses for your work in the classroom. Don't make excuses, because like I said, you make excuses in the classroom, you're going to be one of those guys making excuses on the ice. And that's not going to work. Good question.
Yeah, very good.
Good question. Yeah.
Were you guys leaders in your 20s? And if so, like, what was the mindset that you would adopt?
Oh, that's a damn good.
Well, you know what? I'll say.
Hey, Riles went to Brown. That's how I think. I'm an AIC grad. Like, if you could spell cat, if you couldn't spell cat, they spotted you the C and the A. And Archie too. And I recruited Archie. Archie was a good student.
No, but like one of the biggest honors I ever had was I was elected captain at Brown, and I would always tell every captain, whether at West Point, because we had a room full of what I thought was leaders, right? But if you get picked to be a captain by your teammates, like, I don't think there's any bigger honor in sports, right? And being a captain, being a leader is hard. It's hard, right? Like, you're a captain because your coaches, your teammates respect you. They probably respect how you play, right? You set a great example. But the hard thing about being a captain, you have to hold your friends accountable. That's a hard thing, right? It's hard to tell one of your best buddies, hey, we need more from you, or don't do that, right? It's hard. But you know what accountability does? It builds trust. And when you have trust on a team, you have a chance to do something special. If you don't have accountability, you won't have trust. Again, in the biggest moment, you will fail. And as a captain, it starts with self-accountability. Pretty simple. All you gotta do is look in the mirror every night. The mirror won't lie. Like, you can try to argue with the mirror, but that mirror is not lying. So if the mirror is telling you that you need to be better tomorrow, then guess what? you need to be better tomorrow. Okay? So being a leader, I think it's, hey, everybody in this room has the potential to be a leader. You are not born a leader. Like at West Point, we had a lot of great leaders. I liken it to, imagine you drive down the road here in Simsbury, you drive by this house and you're like, wow, like look at that yard, look at the flowers, look. That didn't just happen. Like that yard was fed, like water. That garden was fed. Like leadership, you got to feed your leadership garden every day, right? And you continue to evolve as a leader. If you aren't a leader right now, trust me, you can work on things that'll make you a better leader a month from now. The more leaders you have on your team, the more chance you have for success. Awesome question.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome question. That was so good, we gotta get another one from one of you guys. What about the young guys in the back? Looking around. Oh, all right, we'll go right here.
On the part of like buying in, it's also a team sport. What are ways you guys would say to influence your teammates? Because it is their choice too. Like, what are ways you would say as a team you guys can bind together?
Well, Lang and I are probably on the same page. Like, how do you get everybody to buy in together? It's their choice, right? Which it is, but you're on a team. And anybody in here ever read John Gordon? I'm looking at some of the adults. The Energy Bus. You know what they did? You get those people off the bus. You give them the opportunity to get on board with you, right? I'm sorry, like this is like, you guys are trying to look for opportunities to get to the college. I'm talking to the older guys here, to get to the next level. You don't need 3 guys on your team that are doing everything that goes against what you guys are trying to accomplish. So you talk to them, right? You tell them what you're looking for. And if they don't get on the bus, you go to your coach. Coach, like, we're trying, it's not working. It's not working. It's a big boy sport. Like, so if you're going to play a team sport, you better make sure you're all in with your teammates. It's not about you, it's about us. Okay?
The only thing I'll add to that, to motivate and inspire is the hardest form of leadership. Some leaders take charge. Some leaders are, they're follow me kind of leaders. I'm just going to worry about myself. But if you can motivate and inspire your teammates, and it goes back to what Ryle said, like, I think it was Dave McGarity at West Point who said he'd call them courageous conversations, where you have to hold your friends accountable. Guys that you're going to Chipotle with, and you have to have the ability to say, hey, you know what? We don't do it that way here. I know where you came from, but it's not here. We need everybody pulling in the same direction. And right now, you're not. And that's courageous conversation. The easy thing to do is just kind of let them just hang himself, but it's impacting your team and it's impacting your guys' livelihoods. You have to recognize that. You want to play college hockey, you want to be a good team, they all funnel in the same direction. Can you motivate and inspire your own teammates to do the right thing all the time?
So off of that, I have an experience that has haunted me from the last 40 years. I told you I'm the captain at Brown, right? Our coach calls, this is the preseason, our coach calls on a Friday night, and I'm in a house, there's probably 4 hockey players, 2 lax players. So we've got an off-campus house, 6 players. My best friend, who went to prep school, we roomed together, PGs, went to Waterloo, Iowa. We roomed together out in Waterloo, 4 years at Brown. He's not in. Coach calls and said, "Hey, Robs, everybody in?" What did I say? I said, yes. I said, yes. And I knew my best friend wasn't in. I hung up the phone and I was like, are you kidding? He came in that door like 2 minutes later and I almost threw him down the stairs. But to this day, it haunts me. And my point is, your best friend, if you guys are leaders, your best friends are going to be the ones that are going to challenge you. And I failed. I got an F that night because I didn't hold him accountable. Right? So back to the start, it's hard being a leader. Right? So yeah.
But if you're the new guy on the team, how do you become the leader?
Well, honestly, a new guy, for me, I think you do your talking by your actions. You don't have to come in as a new guy and say a lot, but when you step out on the ice, you're trying to take guys' jobs out there, right? You don't have to say anything, but you want to make it so your coaches respect you right away and your teammates, you earn their respect. And then as the season goes along, you will have a voice. But my opinion is early, if you're a new guy, you just lead by example. You don't have to come in and say a lot right away.
Yeah, and it's a tough spot. And it's funny, we were talking about leadership today at RPI. We have 2 guys that we know are absolute captains. We have 3 or 4 guys that we're talking about for assistants. So I asked my assistant coach, I said, who do you think are guys that should be assistant coaches? And we have 4 transfers from different schools that come highly regarded in terms of their leadership. And we're going to let it play out instead of acting quickly and just naming captains or naming assistant captains. We want to let them grow into having a voice on our team. Yeah, it's a tough spot. Lead by example is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
What's the best way to approach a coach and convey interest in their program?
I always tell people, sell yourself. Don't be afraid. You get on your computer, you look up every coach out there and put an email together. Not just necessarily have to be the same one. I used to laugh. We would get emails addressed to Coach Frank Serratori. Now, Frank Serratori is the head coach at Air Force. And I'm getting a letter what do you think I did with that email? But reach out. And any coach worth his salt will make sure if he doesn't respond to you, then one of the assistants will respond to you. But sell yourself. Don't be shy and just kind of wait. Get an email out expressing, if you have 10 schools, if you have 15 schools, hey coach, my name is so-and-so, I currently play here, got an interest in your program, would love to learn more about it. Hopefully you have the chance to come and see me play this year and include a schedule. So yeah.
And I'd say be really calculated in your approach. And I know there's some really good hockey players in this room, but maybe the email to the head coach at the University of Michigan right now is not the one you want to send, right? And go through your head. You guys are so lucky here. There's a lot of great people in this room. Archie's as good as it gets. He's incredibly connected in college hockey. And it's just hey, Arch, can you reach out to these 4? Now it's a little more intimate. Can you reach out to these 4 or 5 coaches for me? Tell them about me. And then get your video organized. And it's almost like you have to come from different directions. You have to have your coach behind you. You may have to have a little game video ready to go. It might be an email. It might be through a contact of an RPA. My dad was an RPI grad. Well, shoot, I'm going to answer that email. You have to get responded to, and you have to find a way to get responded to. And I can tell you this, It was a lot easier for me to answer emails when I was Brian Riley's assistant. And I take that off his plate. Go through the assistant coaches. We got 4 of them. Email them, text them, get in touch with them, and then, but be realistic in where you should be in the pecking order. It doesn't mean don't shoot for the stars, and everybody's path is different. I'll say this, there are guys that I saw at 16 years old that I said, that kid's playing in the NHL and didn't play college hockey. And then there's guys I saw at 20 years old who I said, there's no way he's a college hockey player, and he winds up being an all-league player, okay? Everybody runs a different race in this room. Run your race, all right? But in terms of getting noticed or getting in touch with college coaches, you've got to find different ways to do it, because everybody's trying to run the same, everyone's trying to do the same thing you're doing. Really good question.
And off that, I would always tell guys, if you score a goal, like everybody wants to be a D1 player, and that's great. If you score a goal at the D1 level, or you score a goal at the D3 level, or you score a goal at the club level, it's all the same feeling. You win a big game at any one of those levels, it's all the same feeling. Like, go where you can get a great education. And if it means playing club hockey, are you kidding me? You see how good club hockey is right now? Like, I don't know about Langer, but I probably wouldn't be a D1 hockey player right now. Like, that's okay. Like, find your path and where you fit in the best. Okay?
Kelly, how are we on time?
It is 5:07.
Should we do a little, maybe just a quick half hour with coaches?
Yep.
So we could just
That's
talk a
great.
little bit, get into some of that, and thanks for being here, all the players.
Good luck.